Okay, this is a video diary. I don't typically look at the comments. If you haven't noticed, the comments are a lot of cyberbullies and trolls that I believe the government enlisted for the cover up and also my abuser. So, what I believe that they are is for the smear campaign. A lot of times they're just blatant, outlandish lies, and you see how they cover up for everything. So, for these parties, they think it's okay and it's normal for me to get trapped on a train with the bus driver locking me in on the train while I'm getting threatened. They think that's normal. They think being deprived of my right to go to court is normal. They think someone pulling a gun on me, putting it up to my head, pulling the trigger, and then police cover for it. Obviously, it was empty. But to get, thrown down on the ground, and I was in, what do they call it? I don't know if it's called the assassination position when I was on my knees, trying to get back up, and he put the gun up against my head and pulled the trigger, and police would not take a report. A witness, I was reported with a corruption to a Parkland employee that wasn't corrupt, and she called the police and Parkland intervention. So they were forced to take the report 7 months later. So anyway, the reason why I'm doing this video diary is this just struck me as kind of unusual. Like I said, I don't normally view the comments. So what it says is that he doesn't care about anything. I promise you, Jason is very comfortable sleeping with his wife every night. He's deaf, not worried about you, your clothes, your wig, anything about you. Get a life and take your meds. Well, the reason why that struck me, I'm not an investigator, but I've had to try to do my own investigation work on my own. I think that's highly unusual for a random YouTuber to say that, he's sleeping with his wife. It's like something that a jaded ex would put and, emphasize. The minions also showed pictures. Hold on, I'll show you the pictures. Okay, I don't know which one it is. These are all the blocked minions. These are all the people I had to block, the minions and harassing callers. So I don't want to go through all the harassing calls, but I'll post a video with what I got in my feed. I stopped talking to him. And like and I'll put this video, I asked one of his minions, who's calling harassing him? What police is coming to knock on his door at a hotel room with a scheme putting him out? Who deprived him of his right to go to court? Who is setting up for him not to see his family and his child out of corruption? Obvious corruption and schemes. But some kind of way, all these people that are hired in this feed they have no compassion for the chaos I've experienced. And in some kind of way, I get assaulted and arrested and violated trying to report the stalker. They would not put his name in anything. I tried to get a protection order, was pushed and shoved there. So I'll put all of that in the feed. And keep in mind, a lot of these situations, for me, sometimes I panic and I'm not able to communicate and I jumble my words. A lot of times I was absolutely in terror, and you couldn't tell. But I was actually terrified for my life. There was a lot of chaos, getting threatened 3 or 4 times a day. They would actually stop me and arrest me and detain me. So I had legitimate reason to fear my safety. And I could not get off the streets because the government was enforcing abuse. They set it up. So they set up all the chaos and then deprived me of law enforcement or any protection. So I'm still living in this nightmare. They keep churches from helping me everywhere I go. Sabotage my phone. Phone calls, 95% of the phone calls I don't get. I can't get legal representation, any support system, period. Churches are told to not be supportive, isolate, and disregard. So I've asked to be in groups and have a support group, and none of them will do that. None of them. I've asked, to be invited and, to have like a support system and be friendly with church members and to be able to have someone to get out with and do things and different things like that. And there's some people, that are like controlled and distanced that do it. Anytime I talk about my experience or my abuse or resolutions, they have to go and then don't respond back. They'll play games for like days or weeks and won't respond. They won't talk about my abuse, period. So does my family. They do the same thing. My family, they would cry and do all kinds of strange things, but they would actually hang up when I started begging for my life, my family. Can you imagine how it felt to go through this living nightmare and call your kids And then you say, please help me. I don't feel safe. Somebody click. These are people that my sister click. Then the same pattern, my sister would cry and have nervous meltdowns, and then she would try to be involved in the smear campaign. I told her, but please, I fear my safety. She finally let me talk, and she said, go to Green Ups. Go to Green Ups. They'll help you. This is my own sister. But for some reason, my sister was having meltdowns, crying spells. Now they just won't contact me. So perhaps maybe the same chaos I went through. My son Tristan got hit with a car. He witnessed the police try to cover for that. I didn't even know I was getting stalked then. But for some reason he said, please don't call the police. Please don't call the police. I said, are you on drugs? I'm calling them. You just got hit with a car. So I called the police, and the police came covering for it. They waited for him to take the trash out, hit him with a car, but I had just went out with someone a couple days prior. Like I said, I'm normally single and really don't have a lot of relationships. So it was out of character for me to have a date. And I did. And I actually felt, whoa, God, are you punishing me? I felt that in my mind. Because I didn't have a maid or anyone. So I didn't understand why I just had a date. And then my son got hit with someone waited. But I didn't know anyone. I didn't even know I was getting stalked. So why would someone wait for my son to take the trash out and hit him with a car? The injuries were minor, so we called the police, and the police tried to cover for it. And then when I escalated, I said, you're covering for a 15-year-old getting hit with a car? Then he went ahead and took my ID, but this is one of the reports they refused to give me report numbers on. So this is what all the flunkies in the feed and in the comments are covering for. Then my daughter got strangled in another scheme. She was afraid to go outside in this community. I didn't even know all the things that were going on at that point. But they terrorized family members. I don't know exactly. She knew that she was getting bullied at school, and she knew things in that community was strange, and she didn't trust those people at all and wanted nothing to do with them in Itasca. Something was going on. She knew something. So nonetheless, she wouldn't go outside and play. And then she was forced to stay with this girl. This lady was supposed to be the pillar of the community, the lady that kept her. So the reason why I had let the lady keep her is because I got a job where she was working, was going to school. So when it was time for me to go to work, the school shut down that Monday. We picked up our kids Friday. And then over the weekend, I told someone, I'm glad that, I don't have to have a sitter because I just have this job when my daughter's at school. So some kind of way over the weekend, the school shut down Monday. It was just the strangest thing. How did it know there was no problem? They said it was a flu epidemic. How? And it was over the weekend. There was no problem Friday. How would you know it's a flu epidemic? It's on the weekend. So anyway, nonetheless, I thought it was the strangest thing. So Monday, and then went to Tuesday and Wednesday, and that was the first day of my job. So I let my daughter go over there. Something had her really afraid, and she was crying, and she said, what happened? This girl strangled me. I couldn't breathe. I had to bite her to get her off me. But here's the strange thing about this grandmother. She would follow me all the time and stalk me, but I thought it was because I had this show. She was elderly, older. So I thought that it was because I had this little show on Facebook. Something like it was more positive, like motivational things, and I did this show on Facebook. So I thought I was a mini celebrity in the community. No, he set all this up. They didn't care anything about me. He was controlling all these people. So I thought I was a mini celebrity in the community, so she would follow me and stalk me, and I just thought, she just had admiration or whatever. I believe she was a gang stalker. So my daughter went over there, and the little girl strangled her, would not let her play with her toys. The grandmother was scheming that I didn't feed her. And, I said, ma'am, okay, what you're saying is, she said that I don't want people to think that you're a bad parent and you're not feeding your daughter. She eats a lot of food. I said, I know, but I don't understand why you would think that she is not eating and she bought food for your family. She had already ate breakfast at home, and I said, take these donuts for a snack. It was like a dozen donuts. I said, take the donuts for a snack, and then let's share it with them. She said, okay. So I said, ma'am, why would you think she is not eating and she brought food for herself and for and for your family? And then I said, you see this right here? Because the job, it was like strenuous activity. So I said, you see this right here? The food was left on the table from that morning. I said, she ate breakfast before she came over there and then brought other food. So she said, oh, okay. But so the grandmother was setting me up and was trying to like make it seem like I was problematic and abusive. So then I said, let's get the kids together to hash this out and get things resolved. And she did not want to do that. So out of all the things that were said, all the assaults and things that were set up for me, and then this woman gang stalking me, she did a lot of other things that were unusual that I just don't really think that are realistic, so I won't go into detail. But now I see that this lady was a gang stalker that kept my child, and they don't care. She was 8. They hit my son with a car at age 15. It's not funny, like they keep joking around, and I kept reporting these things, chaos in the comments. It's not funny. It's sick. Then just like they deprived me of my check, the scams with Social Security, these people have went all the way back to 2008 when I got my last Social Security payment and set up a crime. They have concocted that I owe the Social Security Administration to cover up for their crimes. These people are acting like they have no sense and it's like they have lost their mind. They don't care. Multiple different government agencies were so corrupt they just handed me fraud. Now they won't even give me documentation because they incriminated themselves. So if you look at the Social Security Administration, Attorney General, these people are embezzling money out of malice and committing crimes and getting away with it. So since they couldn't answer the questions, I need to calm down. Since they could not answer the questions for the missing payments and different things, they have concocted that I owe a debt from 2008. That they have just realized I owe in 2022, along with the chaos going on with the Attorney General. But anyway, I'm just going over the same thing again. I just thought that was pretty unusual for someone to tell me in the comments that this man is sleeping with his wife every night. That's pretty odd for a YouTuber. Is he behind the comments? Because he hid behind other pages. That's how I met him. Anyway, this is a video diary.